I'm just doing an impromptu first time live video because I'm about to do some cooking. So my name is Noemi. I'm a registered dietitian, nutritionist, and I'm currently in the Dominican Republic, and I'm about to make some dinner. It's a little late out here. We're an hour ahead, so I'm a little late to making dinner, but it'll be enough leftovers for the next day, and hopefully you guys can enjoy it with me. So first steps first is that there's a bunch of dishes that I need to do. So I cannot cook in a dirty kitchen. So I have to do the dishes first. That's a requirement for me, so that's what I'm gonna do. Alright, so I'm gonna start washing the dishes. And what I have planned to make today, we have some albondigas, so some chicken meatballs that I bought. They're already breaded and ready to, and shaped and formed. So I just have to either put them in the oven or put them on a pan and cook them to my preference, my likeness, my liking. I don't make a lot of meatballs, so I tend to have to look up the, the temperature, if I'm going to put it in the oven, at what temperature for how many minutes, so I don't overdo it. And then I've actually never made chicken ones, so that was different. Looking around, whenever I travel, I love going to local supermarkets because they have different things. They have different things available that you're just not used to looking for or looking at. And I just like to explore. It's a great way to get to know the culture, get to know what's available, and also give you some ideas. And so the Dominican Republic is like rice central. So I've been eating a lot of rice. So I am going to pair these meatballs with something a little different. I'm going to pair them with some pasta. And I have some eggplant in the fridge. So I'm going to do like a baked eggplant and meatball or, chicken meatball situation. So that's what we're going to do with some pasta. I didn't buy the pasta sauce, so the tomato sauce is going to be a simple, just like garlic and olive oil kind of, dressing sauce on it. Keep it simple, and then just that'll be it. So I'm just going to keep washing the dishes, but I'm out of soap, of course. So I'm going to use this Ajax to clean, because this is not my kitchen. This is my mom's kitchen. Bless her soul. If it were my kitchen, I'd be a little bit more organized, a little bit know where everything is, kind of situation. But you do what you can. I'm learning to just let go of certain ideas and aspects of things needing to be a certain way. And so this is also part of the reason why I'm going live. So hopefully other people can join me. And I should send out some invites. I think that was the recommendation. I should send out some invites so I'm not just talking to myself, right? Let me just finish washing this little thing. And then I'll send some invites out. So, invite all the friends. All the friends. Invite all the friends. And I know people get nervous. People get so nervous, when you're joining all these different lives. But I'll just send a live invite to everyone and see who wants to join. You just never know. I wish I could just select all. That would be an awesome feature. Just select all. Right now I'm just doing people who start with the letter A. people who I haven't spoken to in ages. But you know, let's see if maybe they're up for cooking today. And then there, my parents and maybe even some other people might show up as guests to this little live, and we're just gonna flow with it. We're just gonna try it out and see what happens. All right, I'll start with all the A's today because I have quite a lot of people who I could invite. So I'm just gonna send out all the invites to only the A's. This will be the A live, and then we'll do a B live, and then we'll do a C live. And then we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. All right, that's all the A's, and I'll hold off on the B's. So if you are a friend of mine, if you are an A letter friend of mine, you have been invited to this live, where I'm currently just washing dishes, and then I'll start getting cooking. Some chicken meatballs and pasta. Actually, I should put the pasta in first. So now that I'm thinking about it, let's put the pasta in first. Pasta pot ready. And yeah, there's my dad in the background looking for food because he's hungry. Tiene hambre. Le voy a hacer una pasta con albóndigas de pollo. Mañana. Hoy. No, yo tengo llamadas. Apenas terminé. Sí, apenas terminé otra llamada y tengo otra llamada a las 7, a las 8 y a las 9. So I've been in the DR and I've been getting eaten alive by mosquitoes. Not fun, not a fun experience. This always happens to me. So if anyone has any mosquito remedies, you know, for me, I would love to have them all. You know, I have some repellent. I got some repellent. I have some cortisol for when they do bite me, and you know, for that itchiness after you get bit by a mosquito. But I had one mosquito bite that got infected when I was a kid. I got another one during this trip, so now I'm just trying to keep my skin protected. I have a fan on me right now because they get me whenever I'm standing still and not paying attention, which is a lot of the time. So I'm just trying to figure out how to do this. But yeah, so hopefully somebody can give me some tips and tricks as to what to do. For mosquitoes. And then I also got a little bit of a stomach issue the other day. I'm feeling better, you know, got some Pepto-Bismol, and that helped my stomach settle down a bit, so I'm feeling a lot better today. In that sense, at least. But the itchiness from the bug bites is still there. And then my wound, my infected wound is still in the process of healing. So, and then I'm scheduled to travel back to New York City on Thursday. I'm going to be doing a workshop, and I also want to plan wellness event. So I have one of my teammates in my momentum team posted that she is trying to push herself, you know, to just put it out there, that she wants to do a cleanup at a park in the morning. And I'm like, thank you for reminding me to just put things out there. Sometimes you just gotta give yourself a chance. Just try new things, you know? Get out of your comfort zone, because I've definitely been nerding out these days, just kind of receding back to my old tendencies of not liking to ask for help because I'm afraid of getting told no. I'm afraid of, you know, what it might look like. I'm afraid of failure. I'm afraid of everything and anything. I'm afraid of success. I'm afraid of what that means if I am good at this. So all these things, all these thoughts that come into our mind, they're intrusive and they kind of hold us back sometimes. So just challenging those thoughts is a wonderful way of getting yourself out of your own head and just doing the things and then seeing what happens. So, for example, and it's like, it's funny because as a dietitian, I am in kind of a coaching position where I'm trying to motivate people and connect people to like the habits that will help them to lead to their health and nutrition goals. I am trying to do these things for them. And so, you know, sometimes you need to follow your own advice. I have one client who was talking about her challenges with exercise and how when you are very hard on yourself about the level of physical activity that you expect yourself to do or you think is significant or, you know, worthy of exercise, she has a very negative voice in her head that tells her, hey, this exercise is just not enough. It's not, you might as well not even do it, you know, because 5 minutes means nothing, you know. So you're always kind of like talking yourself out of it. So I challenged her and I was just like, well, you know, when you were speaking about that, it made me think of a plank. Like a plank is extremely difficult for a lot of people. Most people can't hold a plank for over a minute. If you can do a minute, that's amazing. And if you can do more than a minute, that's even more amazing. So it's just like thinking about like certain activity levels that can't be sustained for long periods of time because of how intense they are. And she resonated with that. She was just like, you know what, you're right. That makes a lot of sense. Because it's not about whether or not you are doing enough physical activity. It's about the intensity and for how long. And I told her, like, you know, when you're exhausted and when you're not feeling your best, the smallest amount of activity can feel like a huge workout. So it's like she was exhausted, she was not feeling her best self, and so just doing any type of physical activity was gonna feel like a marathon for her. It was gonna feel intense. So sometimes we have to like talk ourselves into doing things and talk ourselves out of not doing the thing. So that's what I'm trying to practice here today. I'm trying to do the thing that scares me, do the things that I'm like, I'm not ready for this. I didn't prepare for this. I didn't prepare. Clearly, I'm washing the dishes right now. I'm supposed to be cooking, right? It's like, I didn't prepare for any of this. This was on the whim, and then I'm just going to see what happens, right? It's a learning. Like, I struggled to even find how to do this live in the first place. I was like, how do you even do a live on these apps? I've never done them before, so I had to like Google, how do you do a live? And then I realized that I couldn't do it on Instagram because I don't have 1,000 followers. So now I need to get 1,000 followers on Instagram so I can do Instagram lives. And so, you know, you learn as you go, and I am definitely someone who does learn as I go. So if I can continue to do things and learn from them, I think I'm in a good spot, right? Hello, welcome. Welcome to my first live. I'm just here washing dishes, getting ready to start cooking some meatballs, chicken meatballs, some pasta, and some eggplant. And yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. It's my first live. I've never done this live before, so we're gonna see how this goes. So I'm in the Dominican Republic, and my mom gave me strict instructions to only use the water from the filter, not from the tap. So I'm gonna go fill this up with water for the pasta. So I'll be right back. So how grateful am I that we have bottled safe water that we can drink from and use to eat and drink from. Little things, right, that we forget to be grateful for, because there are definitely some people who don't have access to clean, safe water. So, alright, so now my water is boiling. Most of the dishes are washed, just a few more to go. And then my mom did leave some leftover veggies that I can also add to the spread for tonight's dinner. Okay. And then I will send invites to the bees, because apparently you gotta invite people one at a time. You can't just be like, hey, all my friends, check out my live. I thought, but I always get live notifications, so I'm guessing that people are getting notified. But you know, it's a little different when you get a personal invitation, right? You feel a little more incentivized to show up. So that's why I was trying to figure out how to send invites, but I could only send invites to people whose name starts with the letter A. So anyone else who's joining me, hello Shannon, how are you? Oh, good to see you. Thanks for joining. I'm just here washing dishes and I'm about to start cooking. So if you're looking for some inspiration on cooking, I'm going to be making some simple chicken meatballs and pasta. So feel free to join me. I'm just washing the dishes, getting the kitchen ready. This was a little bit impromptu. Wasn't planning to do it. Hi Daisy. Hola Daisy. ¿Cómo estás? Hey Shannon. All the way from California, right? Shannon, you're still in California? I know we haven't. Oh, you're sick. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Hope you feel better. I was just talking about how I'm in the Dominican Republic right now, and I've been getting chewed up by mosquitoes, and I got one of the bites infected, and so I'm treating that right now. And I had a little bit of a stomach issue, which was resolved thankfully with some Pepto-Bismol. So I feel you on the feeling a little off. I feel you there. I hope you feel better. No, I left. Yeah, I left a while back. So I used to live in California for 2.5 years, but I retired my life. Well, temporarily retired. I'll probably be back. Yeah, no, I'm not in Cali anymore. I moved. I'm doing my digital nomad life. You know, I have my own company where I'm a registered dietitian. And I've just been traveling since August. I left in August, so I've been traveling since August. I did a whole national park tour of the East Coast. I visited 11 national parks in 2025, so that's one of my accomplishments. And now I'm in the Dominican Republic. I'm gonna spend 5 weeks out here, which I've never done. I've only spent maximum 3 weeks out here. So this is my first time spending like a significant amount of time in my birth country where I was born. But I left here when I was 2 years old, so definitely Americanized for sure. But you know, you always feel at home out here. My parents are here, so it feels nice to come and visit and connect with family and connect with the island. So it's really nice. Thank you. Oh, it's so good to hear from you. Hola tía, ¿cómo estás? So in my little East Coast tour, I was supposed to be visiting family members. And I visited a bunch, but I couldn't see everyone. There were some people who were having phone issues, some people who were, I just couldn't fit into my schedule. And so my tía Daisy me toca ir a visitarte para el 2026. So 2026, I'm gonna go visit my tía Daisy. She's on here. And I'm gonna make sure. Oh, so Shannon is doing some comedy and travel. Nice. And then you're doing per diem in the hospital. Oh yes, much better work-life balance. That's why I also needed to kind of leave the hospital environment to kind of get a little bit more creative, give myself a little bit more creativity for sure, to be able to do these lives and like connect with people in different ways. Because I love, that's the reason why I went into healthcare, right? Because I love connecting with people. But you can connect with people through many ways, like comedy, like cooking, like, you know, all those different ways. So that's why we don't have to stay stuck in one way of doing things, and it's worth giving it a shot, right? Because you can always go back to the hospital if you have to, right? You can always go back to that. It's always there for you. You still got your license, you know. If you want to go back full time, it's always there. And that's how I thought of it. I'm just like, they're always gonna need a dietitian somewhere. So let me go pursue my passions. Let me go take some risks, and let's see what happens. Okay, so my water is boiling. Let me get my chicken, meatballs, the pasta, and the eggplant, and then I'm gonna start chopping with my little strawberry cutting board that I have here. So give me 1 second. So I love going grocery shopping in different countries because you get to try a bunch of different foods. So this is a pasta that I've never heard of, but it's, you know, whole wheat penne pasta. So let's try it. Let's see what it's like. And then they have these little pre-made chicken meatballs. So they're already ready. All I have to do is put them on a pan or put them in the oven, and then we're just gonna cook them up. Alright, so while the water's boiling, let me raise the water temperature. I'm gonna chop up the veggies. I got some onions. Nice big eggplant here. Love me some eggplant and some onions. So I always cry when I do onions, so if you see me crying, it's okay. I'm just gonna cry. This is gonna be, I might have to give myself a moment of break from the onion, but that's just a normal thing that happens to me. I have like a slight onion sensitivity. And that's what happens sometimes. I eat onions all the time though. I eat onions all the time, and you would think that I would just get used to it, but I don't get used to chopping onions. So I leave the onions always for last, because then I won't finish chopping if I try to do it sooner. So I'm just gonna chop up. I like my eggplant kind of bite-sized, so I tend to like cut it into rounds and then cut it into like 4 pieces. So I'll do it like this, and then I'll chop each piece in half and then half again. And that's how I tend to do my eggplant. And then I love roasted eggplant, so I'm gonna put it in the oven with olive oil and with some salt and some pepper. I'll see what seasonings my mom has. I haven't really looked. My mom cooks most days, so that's why I was like, I'll cook today. I'll give you a break, Mom. Now, so you don't have to cook today or tomorrow. You just heat it up. But she does like to cook every day. And my dad is used to having home cooked food every day. So a little spoiled, right? I was hoping some people might know some secrets on how to keep the mosquitoes off of you. If anyone knows any secrets on how to keep mosquitoes off of you, I have a fan. I have, mosquito repellent. But I feel like they still somehow get to me. They still somehow get me. I literally have coast to coast. I have someone in California, and then my aunt Daisy está in Florida. She's in Florida. And so I'm going to go visit her in 2026 because I didn't get to visit her this time around. But I'll make sure I'll prioritize it for 2026. Start with this batch because I actually don't know how big my mom's pan is for baking. And of course in the Dominican Republic they put all their pots in the oven, so never turn on a Dominican person's oven without looking inside of it first because otherwise you might burn something. So we just got to make sure there's nothing in there before. And then we got the strainer for later for the pasta. Alright. All the pots are outside of the oven. See, my mom has a baking dish because people in the Dominican Republic, they don't bake that often. I've noticed they like to do everything kind of on the stove top. So that's like a new thing. She does this one. This baking dish. Very, very old school. old school Dominican lady. So she likes her traditions. She likes doing things, you know, her particular way. Alright. We all have our particular ways of doing things, right? You know? We just have our preferences and what we feel comfortable doing. And that's just, you know, our go-tos. But every once in a while, it's nice to try something different, something new. Because maybe that's your new, you know, way of doing things. So, just like I'm doing this live for the first time. Just trying to see what it's like. And see if maybe this is my new way of reaching out to people. Hope she has enough olive oil, because with eggplant you need quite a lot of olive oil. They need to like absorb the oil completely, and so you want to use a good amount to really soak it. So I hope she has enough olive oil. If not, it's gonna be a little different, a little different than what I expected. So Shannon says, yep, mosquitoes love me too. I'll take any advice too. Yeah, for real, right? I think mosquitoes don't have as many predators as it used to. Like, I think bats are like the main predators. So we just need to get more bats. I don't mind having bats. I'll have bats any day, as long as bats and spiders. Bats and spiders I'm friends with, because they will control the mosquito population. But yeah, basically I have to just stay indoors with all the windows and doors closed and a fan on me all the time. And that's the only way. It's the only way. Okay, so let me find the olive oil. Got the olive oil. I just like to kind of drizzle it on top of the eggplant. And it really shrivels up, it, you know, it shrinks a bit. Eggplant is one of those veggies that shrinks a lot. So, you know, the more the better. So that's why I'm doing this entire eggplant. Gonna chop it all, and it won't cook evenly because of the pan. It's just not spread out enough. I'll show you in a bit, but you want it to kind of be spread out so that it cooks evenly. But I think that's the only one that my mom has, so we'll just make do. They won't all be perfectly roasted, but they'll be cooked and edible. I always tell people dietitians are not chefs. We do not make food the prettiest, you know, the best presentation, but I do cook for flavor and for nutrition. So that I do cook for. I always make sure there's veggies, there's protein, there's carbs. I always make sure all the components are there. But I am not one for beautiful presentations of food. It's just more like, it tastes good and it's edible, let's just eat it. But more power to those people who know how to do that. It's a skill, it's a beautiful art. I admire it, I appreciate it, but I just have not learned that skill yet. I'll have to dedicate one of these years to learning it. So many things to learn in life. Alright, so we got some salt and some pepper. Other thing about, you know, Caribbean people is that they always have things not in the package that they are meant to be. So it's like, this is a package for cranberry blend and nuts, and it's some herbs. I think it's oregano, so let's see. Smells like oregano. Yeah, I think it's oregano. So that's the other thing. You gotta check the containers because you might be deceived. And I'm gonna add some salt. You can salt to your preference, to your liking. Try not to over salt it because that's really hard to fix. If you over salt, but if you under salt, you can always just add more salt at the end. So that's why I always say go under. It's better to go under than to go over when it comes to spices in general. This container is just very slow. I'm not putting a lot of salt, I promise. It's just very slow to get the salt out. Okay, alright, so we got some salt. I'm gonna crush some pepper. The fan blew a pepper into my eye. Okay. I think my mom came to check on me because she heard me talking and she's like, who are you talking to? She just walked away. Okay, so yeah, got a little bit of slow connection because I'm in the Caribbean. Bear with me. Alright, so we're almost ready. I'm going to put a little more olive oil because I like it nice and soaked. The eggplant's ready to go. Now, this is where I must research because I always forget the temperature times of everything. Temperature and time for everything, I always forget. So let me go research how much time I'm supposed to put this eggplant in for. Baked eggplant. I always liked that second name that eggplants have, aubergine. It's so unique. It's like, I don't even think I'm pronouncing it right, but that's the popular way, another popular way to describe eggplants. And also balsamic vinegar goes really well with eggplant. That's another one. But I'm going to leave the balsamic vinegar for later. I'll just put the olive oil, but it says 450. So let's do that, 450, which is, here they do everything in Celsius, so that's 290 Celsius. And then we're gonna roast it for 20 minutes and then toss and then cook it for another 10 minutes. So it's gonna be a total of 30 minutes. Alright, so let's do that. There, 290. Oven turned on. Put some salt in my water while it's getting ready to boil. Okay. And I like to put a little oil in my pasta water. Let me just make sure that this oven is working. That's step one. Let me talk to my mom. So my mom says the oven is working, so I just got to figure out how to turn this guy on, because this is not turning. Sí.
¿Qué pasó?
Ahora lo averigüé. Sí. Prendiendo. Huele el gas y nada más se me prende.
Mira a ver si con el foco que puedes prender algo. A ver qué limpieza ahí. Eso no tiene sus, pero baja que está en medio.
Lo prendo y no lo pongo.
Estoy entrando la brisa. La de
El abanico. Van a quitarlo.
ese avión no juega. Entonces lo que sale es un
Ya. ¿Está prendido?
Yo vi cómo le salió el avión.
No está ahí.
Déjame ver, porque puede ser que esté prendido ahí, pero salió.
Yo como que lo huelo, lo siento.
Sí, prendió.
¿Prendió?
Yo vi la llama, pero eso, no sé.
Empieza a prender. Oh, sí, lo veo prendido.
Está prendido.
Ve como la lumbre sale ahí, pero no se ve ahí. ¿Tú ves?
Se ve una claridad, no sé si era. Sí, está prendido, pero está caliente. Y eso no está. Deja limpiar eso ahí, un poquito.
¿Con qué?
Con eso. Cuidado que no te queme. Está caliente.
Sometimes you need to recruit help. Just to make sure. especially when it's an appliance you're not used to. Perfecto. Gracias.
¿Qué es lo que tú le vas a hacer a esto?
Ponerlo al horno.
¿Así?
Ajá.
Sin nada.
Leche, aceite y sal y pimienta. Sencilla. Estoy haciendo la pasta y después voy a poner
¿La
la
vas a poner?
albóndiga. Ya, ¿eso calienta de una vez? Es 200.
Está caliente. Está caliente, porque eso es horno.
Ok,
Yo creo que la primera vez que se puede.
está bien. La primera vez que se puede.
Sí, es verdad.
So, this is my mom's first time turning on the oven. So that's how little they use ovens out here. Huh? It's a thing, it's a thing. No, en el internet. Daisy está mirando. En el internet.
¿Quién está mirando?
Daisy me está mirando a mí cocinar.
¿Quién es ese?
Daisy, tu hermana.
Oh, tú estás hablando con ella.
Ella me ve a mí, pero ella no me puede hablar.
Oh, nada más que te ve.
Nada
Sí.
que me ve.
Ah.
So, ella te ve a ti ahora.
Pero yo no.
Tú le puedes saludar. Hi, it's my mom. I'm telling her that her sister is watching. Le estoy diciendo.
Pero bueno, tú estabas viendo.
I knew it. She was like, "You must be going crazy. You're talking to yourself." I knew that's what she was thinking. I knew it. I know my mom very well. All right, so let's start to like sear. I like to like sear my meatballs. So we're gonna put those on just any pan. And we'll probably have to do 2 batches because it's quite a lot. So any pan. They did. I think this is already seasoned. So I think I'm just gonna leave it like that and see what happens. And if it needs more seasoning, I'll add it later. Okay. Let's put a little oil on the pan. Let the oil heat up. Eggplant is in the oven. Hey Siri. I don't think it'll do the timer. Let me just do the timer. Okay. Alrighty. So we have that. Now I can throw the pasta in. Pasta's in. One of my favorite things about the Dominican Republic is that you see things in their natural beauty. So, you know, usually when you buy bananas and plantains, this is part of the plantain family. It's called rulo. We have them in branches like this. This is exactly how they sell them. So you just get two. So the first batch of meatballs. All right, feel better, Shannon? up another time. Take care. Hola Daisy, ¿viste a mami? Le dije que usted estaba mirando. Y te mandó saludos, por si acaso no la viste. Alright, so we are cooking some chicken meatballs, pasta, and we got eggplant in the oven. Estamos cocinando aquí. We are cooking some Italian inspired meals in the Dominican Republic. Cooking some Italian meals in the Dominican Republic. Okay, so we just want to make sure that it gets nice and golden brown, que se tueste muy bien, y después ya sabemos que está. And I have to make them in batches because it's a small pan. So little by little it'll get done. Ah, qué bueno que la viste. Okay, alright. Now I'm gonna invite the bees on here. Let's see if the bees want to make it. The bees. Alright, now we're recruiting the bees. Invite bees. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to try moving this guy a little bit closer to where the modem is. Let's see if that helps with the connection. Okay. Hay mucho mosquito donde tú vives, tía. Porque aquí me están comiendo viva. Hay mucho mosquito ahí también. Ay, ese, el clima tropical, viven muchos. Por eso que me gustó más el clima de California, porque allí es más seco, entonces no hay tanto insectos. Hay insectos, pero no tanto, y definitivamente no mucho mosquito. Solo las personas que tuvieron agua, ellos con mucha agua, tú sabes, solo de esa área había mosquito, pero casi no hay mosquito. En el desierto que estaba en Los Ángeles, que es un desierto, una ciudad desierto. Ya casi están este grupito de albóndigas. Tiene un buen color. Y creo que está la pasta. Vamos a masticarlo a ver. Un poquito al dente, que así es que me gusta. Welcome. Hey, Cyan. How are you? I'm cooking up some food here in the Dominican Republic, but I'm not making Dominican food. I'm making Italian food because I've been eating a lot of Dominican food. So we got people tuning in from California. Hello, good to see you. Yeah, sorry I missed you when you were in New York in September. We weren't able to coordinate because there was a lot of things happening, I think, for you and for me. But maybe next time. How are things back in California? Yes, chicken meatballs. So this is the first batch of meatballs that I cooked. Oops, lost one. First batch of chicken meatballs. Yes, it's hot. It's right off the stove. And then I have eggplant in the oven. And then I just finished boiling some pasta. Oh, you never made it to New York City. Oh, so you only went to DC, right? One sec. My mom needs my help. Technological. Ahora no. Mahulyo, kasi sabi niya. Ganda dito. Ahora le toqué aquí. Pero no hay ahí. Recuerda que el link no lo mandaron aquí. ¿Cómo se llama el grupo? A ver, el link está aquí. No, sin ese link no se va a permitir entrar. It's my mommy. Yeah, it's hot over here. It's humid over here. And I have the oven on, which they don't use the oven here in the Dominican Republic. Maybe India is the same. They don't use the oven here at all. My mom literally told me that today is the first day this oven has ever been turned on. So hopefully it works. And it's because it's so hot over here. That's why people don't like to turn the oven on, because it is a lot. Most people who turn on the oven just because they have AC, you know. And a lot of people here they can't afford AC, so it's a little bit hard. And look at me, I'm sweating up a storm just from standing here. But we're almost done. This is the last batch of meatballs. Kind of like the texture of chicken nuggets. Pretty good. Okay. I think I have 3.5 more minutes. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Now it just needs a little bit of like sauce, and it'll be perfect. We got 3.5 more minutes, and then we gotta flip the eggplant. And now I'm gonna strain the pasta. Pasta strained. I'm going to season the pasta while the last of the meatballs are cooking. I just like to put more olive oil on the pasta and some salt. And I also add pepper, because I add pepper to everything. And that's my dad in the background. Let me get that fan back. I had put it away so we could light the oven. Need some fans. Almost done. Chicken meatballs. Alright. Let me find some counter space. Hardest thing to find is having enough counter space in anything. That is prime. Meatballs a little more. Okay, we got eggplant that we're gonna toss real quick. Back in the oven for another 10 minutes. Okay. And then, okay. Ya casi estamos listos para comer. I season this well because my dad likes seasoning. This leads to a lot of seasoning. a nice simple seasoning, but it works. It works. When you're in a pinch, you're trying to cook really quickly. Get some meatballs, get some pasta, get some eggplant, and then call it a day. Now, you just have 6 more minutes. Tenemos 6 minutos más y después de ahí estamos listos para comer. Un poquito sudada porque el horno está prendido. Nunca puse a cocinar la cebolla. Eso fue lo que se me olvidó. That's what I forgot. Is to put on the onions. I always get nervous with onions because it makes me cry. So maybe I'll ask my dad to cut the onions for me. Now it's gonna be crying time. That's what's gonna happen. Let me, yeah, because I don't think I brought my goggles. So we're gonna chop up this onion. Something that won't affect me. Alright, we're just gonna saute some onions and that'll be like a nice little topping. We use a lot of red onions. Usamos la cebolla roja aquí para cocinar. garlic. Vamos a poner un chin de ajo. Cebolla, el ajo, la pasta y las albóndigas. Y ahí estamos listos. Voy a dejar cocinar un poquito más de ajo. fire, finish cooking. A little bit of garlic. So we have the pasta, las albóndigas. Ahí tiene las cebollas con el ajo. So we got pasta, chicken meatballs, and we got the pasta cooking with some onions and garlic.